Hi, welcome BookFest friends. So glad that you are here, and I hope you've been enjoying all the speakers and content. But I have a question for you. How long have you been sitting there? Or how long have you been scrolling on your phone, whether it's emails, e-readers, or social media? Yep, we all do it. We all get caught up in extended times hunched over a phone or computer, working or doing the things that we love. In this session, we're going to discuss how to make sure your love of reading, writing, and working does not become a pain in the neck. I'm Valerie Fentress, a children's author, and I'm also someone who has suffered through scoliosis surgery and chronic pain for most of my life. In my journey of chronic pain, I've had to discover ways to work with my body so that I can continue to read, write, and do the things that I love. Since we only have a few minutes together, we have to get moving a little bit if we want to warm up our joints. Those are the gears of our bodies. If they aren't warm, everything connected to them will suffer the consequences. So let's stand up if you're able. If you're watching on a phone, get up, start moving around the room. If you have a set of stairs nearby, start going up and down for the next few minutes. If you're at your computer, stand up if you can and march in place. And even if you can't, you can stay in your chair, move to the edge, and just march in place where you're at. Our bodies were made to move. And only in the last 100 years has our work become less physically active. And our bodies have adjusted and changed based on those needs. And one thing I love to talk about more is ergonomics. But in this talk, I'd rather show you some helpful movements. And I hope we can come back again another time and talk a little bit more about anatomy, physiology, and ergonomics. I want to get us moving because creating movement and flexibility is the number one way to help our bodies. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not athletic. I'm not a workout junkie, but adding these movements before I start working or writing has been a big help with finding a balance between my writing and the way my body works. So today, join in the movements with me. I'll have a PDF for you in the notes for you to download and do these activities on your own. So there's just the opportunity to get up and start moving. Now, if anything doesn't feel right, stop. Try the modification or march in place just to keep moving. Do not do any exercise that causes pain. Now, if you've been moving about your space, or going up and down stairs, it's time to settle in as we continue our time together. Okay, so let's get moving. We're going to start with step jacks. Now, this is a lot like a jumping jack, but we're not going to be jumping. We're just going to be kicking a leg out and putting our hands above the head. So we're doing that jumping jack action, but without that high impact. And this just takes about 10 reps to get things moving and to help us stay active. All right, there we go. There's our 10. And now we're going to go to cross reaches. Now, this is an exercise that we can do from a standing position or from a seated position. So I'm going to show you from the standing, but if you need to sit down, just move to the edge of your chair and you can do the same action. So again, we're going to kick out a leg and reach across our body. And then we're going to switch to the other side. Again, kicking out that back leg and reaching across, getting a good stretch in those shoulders and those hips. And do a few more here. All right, great job. Now we're going to mostly work on our shoulders here and doing kind of clapping our hands forward and clapping our hands above our heads. Again, something easily done from a standing position or from just sitting at your desk when you're waiting for something to load or download. All right, now that our joints are warm, we're going to turn the focus to some simple exercises to release tension in our head and neck. So again, can be done from standing or a seated position. And we're going to take our ear and just lean towards our shoulder to feel a nice stretch in our neck. And then back to center, and then take the other ear to the other shoulder. We're not going to stretch or pull or twist because we are just wanting to encourage flexibility and movement in our bodies. Great job. Now our next exercise is going to be creating a double chin. I know we all try to avoid getting a double chin, but this exercise allows us to stretch the very back of our neck. So we're going to put our hands out and look straight forward. And we're just going to tuck our chin in. Then release. Tuck our chin in again. And release. You should feel it just right in the very back of your neck. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Great job. All right, now that we're going to start focusing on our shoulders. In order to work on our shoulders, we need to move to a wall or flat surface. I'm going to use just this little area on my shelf here, but you can move yourself to a wall or door frame. So we're going to put our heels at the wall, our hips on the wall, our shoulders, and our head. And then we're going to move our hands up above our head and then down. This is called a wall angel, which is not all that different from the good old snow angels we used to make as children. And it really opens up our chest and gets our shoulders warmed up. All right. Next, we're going to move to arm circles. We're going to stick our hands out to the side with our palms down. And we're going to just twist our palms up and twist down. There's a very big connection between our shoulders and our hands. And it's really important for us to recognize that sometimes that hurts in our hands is because of tension in our shoulders. So I don't know if you ever had a piano teacher or took piano lessons as a kid, but I distinctly remember my piano teacher being very firm about the importance of our fingers and our wrists. And since we tend to be writing lots of emails or writing lots of words for our word count, we have to be careful with our hands and wrists as well. So we're going to start with a few actions just to help with our hands and wrists. So we're going to put our hands in a prayer position. If you're sitting down, you can put your elbows on the table. And we're just going to push our hands one direction, come back to center, and push our hands to the other. Up again, over, up, center, and over again. Now our next move is going to keep us in this prayer position, and we're going to take our fingers up, then twist down. If you need to move your elbows out, do so. Listen to your body. If you're not flexible in this area, it's okay. It's what we're here to work on, is to help let our body work with us as we go throughout our day. Now, the next exercise we're going to work on with our hands is just an open and close action. Now, but when you're on this open, I want you to stretch out your fingers as much as possible. Just reach, stretch, then release and bring your hands in. Let your fingers come out and stretch as much as you can. Then down you go again. Let's do that 2 more times. There you go. Okay, nice job. Now we're going to move to our backs. This is going to move us down to the floor. If you have trouble getting up and down from the floor, these actions can be done on a bed, on a bench, or on a couch. Just be aware of your balance and create a safe space for you to move. Okay, so we've moved to the floor, and we're going to put ourselves in a tabletop position. This gets our wrists underneath our shoulders and our hips above our knees. And we are going to push our hips backwards to the floor, reaching our arms out, creating a nice curve in our spine into what's called a child's pose. We are going to stay here for a 3 count. Then we're going to get our body back to that tabletop position. Then we're going to drop our hips to go into a position called cobra pose. Or hold for 3, and come back up to that tabletop position and push ourselves back into child's pose. This creates a lot of movement in our hips and stretches them in so many great ways. Good job. Now we're going to stay in this tabletop position and we are going to move one of our feet up next to our hands. It doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever can get your leg into this 90-degree angle. And then we're going to push that back leg out straight. Nice job. This really stretches our hip flexors and our abductors, which tend to get really tight when we are sitting for long periods of time. I'm going to do the same with the other leg. Again, bringing it up into this 90-degree angle and lifting that back knee straight. And then drop that knee and back into a tabletop position. Now we're going to kind of push our knees up and our body up so that we're in a downward dog. Then we're going to walk our hands to our feet. Bend your knees as needed. You don't have to have straight legs if flexibility is just not in your body's wheelhouse, like in mine. All right, from that downward dog, you're just going to raise yourself slowly up one vertebra at a time to where you're back to standing. Way to go. Now, how do you feel? Are some of those aches and tensions that you had at the beginning of this presentation a little bit looser? Well, it feels good to move, doesn't it? And so how do we find time in our day to move? Well, as we've seen in this presentation, getting your body moving does not take long. It just takes about 12 to 15 minutes to move and help your body prep for the work that you will do in a day. You can also think ahead. Be aware of when you know you're going to be sitting for long periods of time and to do some of these movements before you are going to be sitting for that long period of time. So you can help your body be limber and ready to do the work that you love to do. I encourage you to take time every hour to move your body. In our short time together, we've warmed up our bodies and we've stretched our bodies. You can take these steps and implement them in your day-to-day so that your reading, writing, and working won't be a pain in the neck. I've put together a PDF especially for this BookFest crew, and you'll have access to that after we're done here today. And go ahead and read through that, and there are a lot more exercises in that PDF than we were able to get in our short time together. Now, be sure to listen to your body and to implement these stretches and actions as needed, and listen to how your body responds, especially when it starts telling you that you're getting tight and stiff. Be sure to remember to take care of your body. It's the only one you get. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, Dave.